Today, we're going to be talking about how to make this junkion combiner. This is not a new thing. This is a thing that's been around for some time. And this is the junkion combiner that I call Junkosaurus. I made the video prior that tells you how to put it together, but I've actually got the fifth part. Initially, it was a 4-part combiner, but this is the fifth. So, with this combiner, this version, you're going to need one trash master. You're going to need either scrap hook, tow line, or the other option is axle grease or lockdown. They do the same things, they're the same mold, kind of, so everything works out the same. You're then also going to need 2 of the crash bar mold, which I believe there is only actually the 2 versions of, which is Crash Bar himself, which is this one, or Road Pig, who was a Walmart exclusive similar to Lockdown. And the addition is the tail. I made a tail for this guy, which we'll show you how to put it together and everything like that, but for the most part, that is the junkion combiner. So let's just get into the components. So for the arms, there's very few components actually necessary. You first are going to need this leg from both Road Pig or Crash Bar, or if you have 2 Crash Bars, one of them. The one that's the seat and that has the wheel with the pop-out blade gimmick, if I can get that to work. I don't know where there it is, there's the top of it. So basically, you're just going to want this one here. And what you're going to do with it is just fully extend it like this. You're going to put it like that, take the leg peg, and personally, I just fold it back because it's not needed. So you do that. And then we're going to take the pipes from either of the 4 prior mentioned figures. In this case, I'm going to take tow lines and put them on Crash Bar, and I'm going to take the pipes from Scrap Hook and attach them onto Road Pig. And this forms the arms. That's all I do to form the arms of the thing. I know they could be a little bit better. There is technically parts I could use. I tried using the tow hooks, but I couldn't figure out a way to get them in there good. And if you do want, you can fold out the blades. I don't personally, because it kind of a little odd looking, but you can do it. So if you do want to do it that way, you can. And so the next thing we're going to do is actually just prep Trash Master. I thought it'd be easier just to start with him in his alt form again. Again, we didn't show either Crash Bar or Road Pig, but that's because Trash Master is a little bit more complicated than rip a leg off and attach some pipes. So essentially what you're going to do is come to the back and you're going to remove this section. We're actually going to prep this section before we prep the figure. We're actually going to take the pipes from Road Pig. Now, like I said, doesn't matter if you want to use the orange ones, you can. I like to use the pink ones, kind of like to think of these as like eyes of some kind type of thing, just because the thing's blind otherwise, but this is the head of the unit. For the rest of Trash Master, what you're going to want to do is come to the front and fold it down. You're then going to remove this section, and this I usually just stick on the roof, like so. Once that's done, come around back, undo this, and just remove the lag sections, like so. You're then going to fold this back down, and everything should still peg into place with no issues. A little bit looser, of course, but it should still be there. And then you can take the head section and put that on there like that. And that will give you this. Now, we're just going to do this now because we're already here with the section. We're going to take the arms and they just plug on to the little trash arms. It works out perfectly, as you can see. And there is your torso with the arms attached. Pretty basic. Now again, we threw these off to the side. These are necessary for the legs. But you can't attach the legs without Crash Bar. Speaking of no legs, though. Yeah, he has done. Both of his go elsewhere in the combination. So what you're going to need from Crash Bar is actually everything except his legs. You're also going to require his 2 guns and his 2 pipes. The pipes are not as important as the guns. The guns are actually some of the most important pieces of the entire combination. So to get him ready, push his head down. Flip the arms back like that, and then do this. Put him like that. I'm not joking. this is pretty much all you have to do for him. I wish I was joking. You take the guns, put them on the inside. So you take the guns and put them in on this bottom peg underneath the small barrel. From there, you just put that like that. Make sure that these sections are pointing inward, and you should be good. Now from there, what I do is I take his pipes now, and it is actually something necessary to attach the tail, is you take the pipes and put them in the legs, like so, which actually kind of gives it this nice filled out look. And then from there, we can take, again, the main parts, and these two ports, so you're going to want to move the little thighs out of the way from Trashmaster. These two ports are the ones you're looking for, and you're going to take the guns, and they're just going to go right on in there. Just like that. Should go in with no issues. And then you can take the thighs, do whatever. I kind of like to lead them up on an angle a little bit. And then from there, you can actually take the legs that we removed off of Trashmaster, fold down the knee peg, so it's going downward, obviously, and do that. You're just going to take them, peg them on, make sure they're like that, and there you go. So the next thing up is, of course, the legs. Now, the legs of the combiner look like this, and I'm going to show you how to get there. So first and foremost, you do not need the pipes or tow hook. The pipes are already out of the way. The tow hooks are actually part of the tail assembly. The only thing you're going to need to remove is this, and I do recommend having them in their vehicle form for this because it really is much easier to get to the lag assembly from the vehicle. So you're basically going to act like you're going to transform it, but you're not going to. Flip up this back section here, do that, come to the front. Now don't unpeg the lag like I just did there. You're going to come to the front and you're going to undo this whole section. You're going to rotate it around. You are going to do this. You're then going to take this. Now, for Scrap Hook, because of his little mohawk, you're going to have to turn his head sideways to get the doors to kind of close flush. Toe lines, doors pretty well are flush no matter what. Doesn't matter how you have him. And then basically from there, you just have the legs. This is your leg assemblies. Really easy, honestly. The easiest part, it doesn't even really require any parts forming or anything. You just do that. And then from there, what you're going to want to do is take the main body of the figure and you're just going to peg it into those ports that I mentioned earlier. So these ones here, that little tire I had on the back of the Scrap Hook, you're just going to do that. And then you're just going to make sure they're lined up. Again, it's probably easier to go the other way, honestly, to take off the thing and then put it on, but usually I screw up which orientation the leg goes on. There we go, like so. And then I like to take the little spiky wheel things, as mentioned, and put them up there. And we dropped it. There it is, though. We're good. And there we have an almost complete Junkosaurus. Almost. I know you can't really see him, but there's the legs. We have but one component remaining, and that is the tail. Alright, so for the tail section, you're going to require the remaining parts. You're going to require the entirety of Road Pig, minus his, well, one leg, his right leg. So you're going to require his left leg, but it has to be separated. You're going to require Crash Bar's left leg, but separated. You're then going to require guns from Road Pig and the two hooks from Scrap Hook or whoever you have. Again, these are to those figures, but that's the same thing you do with axle greases pretty much as well. I'm guessing I haven't actually tried it with Lockdown. But we're going to get ready to do this. So what you're going to do, take him, fold his head down, take his legs here, fold them up like that. You're then going to take his arms, and they're going to go back like this. And you're going to fold them around. So they're going to go in like that. And that's how you're going to do it. It's just like this. Boom. From there, it's time to start the lag process. You are going to take the guns. The guns are going to connect on like so, and you're going to connect them on to the bike section. Again, this actually does work better if you move the gun sections up into the hands. So that's what I'd recommend. Don't do what I did initially. Do this because it gives you a little more space to work with, and that allows you to get the bike section in there like so. And again, if you want to kind of fold it a bit, there is a bit of motion there. One side doesn't peg as good as the other because there's a tab in the way, unfortunately, and there goes a gun absolutely flying off. But that's how I usually do it, is like that. You're then going to take the peg that is in the leg, and this is going absolutely wild for some reason. The tail does not want to stay together at all. We're working on it. Don't worry. This is a newer step to the process, but it's pretty much how it's going to remain. You're then going to take the remaining leg, and if you want, you can kind of fold it up, do what you want with it. But essentially, it's just there to be a gap filler. I'm not even joking. It's just there to block the head and do all that stuff. And then we have the little hooks. For the hooks, I like to just tab them on to the guns. One's going to be oriented a little differently, but it's a junk combiner. What are you expecting? And then for the combination point, remember those pipes I mentioned that you put onto the legs? You do that. And there we have the junkion combiner, all set up, all good to go, just like how he was in the beginning of the video, right? Kind of. His tail's actually a little more wonky, but otherwise pretty much the same. Again, nothing really changes from the original guide I put up a long time ago, but the tail's different. That's how you can do the tail. Again, you can modify it how you want. The length helps though, where it kind of acts as a support, because the thing always was kind of front heavy. This actually gives it a little bit more heft in the back, so it can actually stand. It still has the same issues as, well, a lot of them are friction ports, so they're not going to hold up too good. But that is essentially him. That's how you do this. Again, didn't show the robots, really, but oh well. If you have the figures, again, that's all you need, and that is it for this video. Thank you for watching.